Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TARTLE. Jason and I took one day off, and it feels awful. I feel like we've lost so much momentum. The world needs to hear what's going on.
The world is a vampire.
Sucks for Marilyn Manson recently.
Yes, exactly. So, question I have for you, Alex, and we're going to get into this article. I want people to understand we're not like picking on countries.
No.
But whenever we see something that is unlawfully happening, especially when it comes to data,
we should highlight it.
In a country on our, we want to make sure we highlight it because we want each of our listeners and everyone to know when there is something that's going against you and your free will.
Right. So if we look at as leaders in this world, you have to lead by example. And sometimes you can lead poorly. And that gets a lot of limelight. And when we look at what we do at TARTLE by leading by example, we're here for the free movement of data, for people to speak, to share that information, right? To say that this is my data, this is what it says about me, this is how I define, my rights over my information. And we are moving into a world where so now people can use data against others. They can use it maliciously. And if a government, not any government in particular, but if governments choose to, manipulate something that is the responsibility and control and truthful package of what an individual may have, well, then we're starting to have a problem here.
Right.
Now we've stepped over, I'm glad you put that light on. Now we've stepped over the line of towing into truthful ownership and actually giving people sovereignty over something that they rightfully own. You're saying that you don't have the free will to control your data and what your data is saying.
Yeah, and in Morocco, there's a released human rights defender prosecuted on trumped-up charges. So I don't want to get into the charges. I don't want to get into the person specifically or even slamming Morocco. What I want people to understand is when you have unlawful digital surveillance.
Yeah, so this is another article by Amnesty International. And the one we did before was Ban the Scan.
Yes.
That we were talking about, where they were using facial recognition software, and that data with its piss poor algorithm was creating very oppressive police efforts in New York City against people that in no way, shape, or form had any sort of criminal background. It was just like digital profiling. And so now what we've seen here is that with what's going on in Morocco with this specific individual is that there's unlawful digital profiling that's been falsified.
Yes.
So, we having a world of truthful data sharing is so important, integrity of data. But when someone starts to create false data, anybody can create like a Facebook profile. So you can create like a fake one, you can troll around, do what you want. Well, imagine a government stepping in and creating this like troll profile that just destroys who you are online. Your character, your data, your integrity, your public view, all this stuff. You're screwed at that point, and if you think about it, where's the provenance of that data? This is another thing why blockchain is so important for data. Having this record of creation for how that data has gone from the person who made it and where it ends up and how many times it's been touched is so, so important, because then you can go back and say, yeah, this is falsified information. This is a government or some sort of bad actor that came in to falsify my truthful data. This is why we employ technologies and encryption systems that are that important on the TARTLE marketplace to make sure that people don't come in and tool with your data and say something about you that shouldn't be said, something that is untruthful.
Yeah, and they highlight this in the article, and I want us to talk about this, Alex. And these are three big words: freedom of expression.
Yeah, your data is an expression of your thoughts, and you've expressed it in a digital medium, whether it be on your phone or a social media profile or how you've interacted with your doctor and how it's recorded in a system. That's what it is. That's a freedom of expression. Your ability to share it seamlessly across the globe is a freedom of expression. And when you start to cut back on that human right for people to express themselves, which is something that is biologically required for our own, health and evolution, for the stability of our minds, that's a problem. You're putting somebody in a rat trap. How's there supposed to be any growth?
Because it's going against the state or the country.
Yeah, because someone said something truthful against someone else, whatever the country might be, or person or corporation. You can't have stuff like that. So it's important that people have so much power over their data. There's a logical linear line of provenance from them being the creator of it, and that it's encrypted and safe so that no one can manipulate it or steal it. These are important factors. These are moral and ethical, values that are imprinted into what we do at TARTLE, because it is what we look at as the vision of a future for humanity, what it should look like, how we should interact, how we should be evolving. And that's a world we want to step into. We want to step into a future world where it is only truthful conversation. It is a deep respect for people's freedom of expression, for their data, for their sovereignty over those things.
Yeah, and when we look at human rights, and we've talked about this before, on our Big Seven, and I'd encourage everybody to go on our website at tartle.co if you're interested in having the ability to take your data and share it to help these major causes that we have. Not only climate stability and educational access, but number 3 is human rights. And when we look at all of these Big Seven, the biggest issues that are facing the globe, and we believe that data can solve these issues.
Actually, we know it. We've seen it.
Yes.
We've seen, when applied properly, data solves it all. Data's your thoughts, right? So if we apply our thoughts properly, if we can create a jet that flies at 80,000 feet at Mach 2.7, there's no reason we can't fix another problem between all of us if we concentrate our thoughts on it.
So whenever you're looking at human rights and we're looking at data, one of the things that you've shared before and you've talked about is whenever we decentralize, it always helps the people. What do you do with people that are sitting there saying, well, you have this terrorist group that is using blockchain for this, or you have, this other, this dictator and he's using it for this. What do you do when you have something that's open source, but then you have bad intent?
Don't agitate the bad actors. No, but in all seriousness, this world will always have bad actors.
Yes.
That is something that is so inherently obvious.
Inherent to our story.
Right? So how do you make a tool that's free and available, but disincentivizes people to do bad actions?
Yes.
How do you prevent against that, but still open up access to everyone? How do you give essentially a terrorist an option to use something, right? But then be like, you can't use it that way. Like a police officer, you can give them a weapon to use for defense or protecting people, but it's not for them to go out and just start blasting whenever they want.
Right.
It's how that tool is used. At TARTLE, we do screen against terrorists. And the reason we screen against terrorists, because they're known bad actors. They've chosen to label themselves through whatever thing they have committed as a person that wants to disunify and create fear. We don't need them using the tool. But for someone who hasn't labeled them as that, but they're considering being a bad actor but haven't done that, well, it's hard to screen against those people because they haven't really committed something yet. And so that's another big thing. It's like, innocent until, people say innocent until proven guilty. Well, nothing's really gone on, so I can't say the person's a terrorist or a bad actor.
Right.
But the tool is out there. And once they're in it, regardless of their background, you have measures in place that prevent, bad stuff from leaking through or degrading the value of a system or disunifying that system. So yes, there will always be bad actors. We will do everything in our power as the people managing this marketplace for your benefit to make sure that your human rights are protected and that it's not going to be used against you, because that's what we stand for, right? For the protection of your digital rights.
Right.
But I tell you right now, it'd be impossible to screen every bad actor in the world. Don't anticipate a utopian world yet, but you can see it in the future if we all come together. And if 99% of us are not terrorists, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's I heard a story yesterday and it was really interesting. So this pilot was on a plane. You know how they have the doors shut now?
Yeah.
So he had opened the door and then he was just going to use the bathroom, in the door. Well, a guy stood up right when he opened his door and was just kind of mad dogging him, looking at him. Okay, well, now there's a threat. Mm-hmm. So he got on the PA system and he asked the guy to sit down like several times. The guy wouldn't sit down, just kept staring at him. So, and this on you got to imagine just a small little plane. And then
sure, like a little puddle jumper.
Yeah. And so he turned around and he got on the PA system and he said, "Sir, I ask you to sit down." Well, that got everybody on the whole plane alert.
See, this is what happens,
yes.
Right? There's an awareness, it's open, it's transparent, and everybody saw the person that was moving into a state of bad action, But the collective power of everyone's like, okay, we can defend ourselves against these bad actors, these governments, whatever it is. We can stand up for our rights, our life to protect it, our digital rights, whatever they may be, and say, we're not going to let it go in this direction.
Right. So there was 5 or 6 guys that were kind of like, okay, and so then what happened to that guy? He sat down.
You bet he did.
Yeah, because he had a choice to make.
Just about 1 in every 2 people does jujitsu now. Thanks to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever you and this, what's funny is this guy had done Muay Thai or something like that.
Yeah.
But the pilot, so he wasn't afraid.
Muay Thai.
Yeah,
not Muay Thai.
Yeah,
Muay Thai's a drink.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why I said that. I know Muay Thai. Yeah. I don't know why I said that. That's so
Everybody
funny.
loves their
You
Muay
said I was
Thais.
dyslexic
Yeah.
earlier. So, but no, I want
to put pig on a lipstick.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Yeah. Oh, there's so many metaphors.
Oh man!
But I want people to understand that all of us together can solve these issues.
We can solve these issues, and we can protect the things that are most precious to us: the globe, our educations, our economic access, our climate, all these things.